So I want to talk about the recent Danny Goler DMT laser thing that's been kind of gaining hype. He recently had I guess, a talk with Andrew Gallimore after Andrew Gallimore did a bit of a review on his ideas of this thing. And I thought I should probably weigh in because I have some experience and I can kind of pick and choose what I think is good and what I think might need some work and all that jazz. Um, I originally came by this DMT laser thing because someone from Shroomery that I knew, he met with me on Reddit just randomly. We were in the DMT thread, and he found me. So he actually told me about it, and that's when I started looking into this. And this was like probably 3 months ago or something like that. I didn't really know what to think of it. I know that in his original video, he was trying to say that this experiment is proof that we live in a simulation. It's a kind of a simulation proof thing. And the whole thing with the DMT laser that he does is he basically shines a laser on the wall, and then he looks at it at, I guess, a certain angle or something, and then when he smokes DMT, he can see these, I think the Japanese letters are called katakana or something. You can correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember. Streams of characters going down, those Japanese characters. And he says that people are seeing that, and it's something that he can repeatedly do and show other people, and they also see it. So when talking about these streams of letters and everything, I know he says it looks like the Japanese letters, and he says that that's sort of the underlying code for what's running, I guess, the reality or whatever. And I can kind of weigh into this. My post-secondary education is in computer programming, and I do a lot of, lately I've been doing a lot of kind of advanced look into C++ stuff, like a lot of the memory management stuff, move semantics, L value, R value references, all that stuff. So, I think that I can give some kind of, a bit of a deeper kind of look into, my thinking of this stuff and potentially give more light to some of the ideas that the other people were trying to present. But basically, when I'm thinking about this, like, specifically in the Matrix, their character stream, that was more of a stylistic representation of this digital world, I think. If it was more accurate, the data stream would be ones and zeros, because that's kind of like the lowest level. There's high level languages, which is actual syntax, which is like C++ language, and then there's like the middle level, which would be like assembly code, and then you would get to like the very base level, which is machine code. And machine code is what those streams of ones and zeros would be. So like if the Matrix wanted to be more accurate, they would have made that streams to be binary, basically. So when thinking about this stream that he's saying that's running the code, or is running reality, those characters, they're not like a basic form of data like binary is. They're more representations of something that's a more abstract, like a syntax, like C++ or assembly language, something like that. So in my head, does it make sense that the stream, the base stream, would be some sort of syntax of a programming language, or should it be the actual base level of what the data is? If it's if we're in a computer and it's being simulated, you would think that you would be seeing binary or something. So, I think that the leap to say that these characters mean that it's a simulation doesn't really kind of, that leap is a bit too much in terms of the logical connection, I think, and when you break it down at that level. So, and the characters, they're, visually speaking, they are a mystery, because we don't know what's generating them. You do see characters, you do see, I specifically see a lot of lettering and stuff in my DMT trips, and I try to kind of read what the lettering says, and it's very hard to, because the resolution is so small. You can't really make out what one character is to another character because it's so small, and that that's a big point that is going to be hard for this, because it's like, when you're dealing with such a small data set, you know, there's not other things that you can kind of focus on. I think you really need the cool thing is with a lot of the archetypes and a lot of the motifs, the characters and everything. You know, you obviously hear a lot of talk of the reoccurring jesters and clowns and mantises and all that. You know, what's very compelling about those things is they're as a data set, they have a lot to them. You know, they have not just visual elements that you can point out, but they also have behavioral elements. They create a narrative based on how they interact with you. So let's say a lot of the reports were jesters giving a middle finger. So when I posted that Joe Rogan thing, a lot of people were saying, hey, you know, I experienced that exact thing. You know, so that's kind of those are the kind of data sets that you want. You want the ones that have more information to go on. There's not just visual information, but there's also behavioral information. There's this narrative that's created, you know, and all of that can be kind of compared with other people in the normal scientific way. You basically, you know, you do controlled experiments and whatever, but like that's the kind of thing that you want to focus on if you're trying to kind of get a proof of something, is you want to have something that you can analyze that isn't so lacking in its data. And I feel like just characters that you're seeing, you know, it's lacking because it doesn't have a behavior. It barely has a visual quality to it, because you can't really distinguish one character from another. So you're not really working with so much. And so, you know, I agree with Andrew when he says that, like, the significance of this, like, what makes the significance of these characters more significant than any other visual that you see in the DMT space. It's like, just for a practical sense, it would make a lot more sense to focus on. Excuse me, I burped. It would make more sense to focus on the more information-dense parts of the experience. And, you know, this isn't to say that there's nothing fascinating or bizarre or mysterious about the experience, but it's just saying that we don't need to disregard the other stuff for this one thing, you know, especially if this one thing is a lot smaller than the other stuff that we've been focusing on, you know? So it's kind of a... You're really kind of trying to choose your priorities here, really. And, you know, other people might have a different opinion on that. I would like to hear other people's opinions, to be honest. If you guys have other suggestions on why this might be compelling, or, you know, what you even think of what I've had to say about this, I think that it would at least cause like a good discussion in this community, because I feel a rift that kind of happened in the community over this, and it doesn't need to be that way. There doesn't need to be this battle over who is right about this, because we all are kind of on the same page that we think that there's something to this that is beyond, you know, what we currently know. And, you know, we don't have the proof of that, but we're really trying to get there. And, you know, if we want to go public with something, we want to make sure that there's really a lot of information dense material to go after. You know, we don't want to come out of the gate with something that is kind of iffy, that's kind of hard to analyze, you know. So I'm really just asking for some caution in this, and some sort of more analyzing to take place to see what we should really kind of prioritize here. I really want to hear what you guys think, you know. Let me know.